You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar. I said, hey, ladies, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, ladies, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. You're welcome to drink our whiskey and smoke our really fine cigars. One more time, boys. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna smoke a really good cigar and drink a really fine whiskey.
It is happy hour. It's the Man Cave Happy Hour. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matthew Fox. Hey, buddy.
We are out, hanging out. Today we're at Ambassador Cigar.
We're in beautiful Troy, Michigan.
That's right. Uninvited.
Very much so.
Set up. We just set up in the corner. We took over a table, and we're like, hey, you want to record a podcast?
Hey.
I got a bunch of microphones in my bag. And Matt's
Have microphones will travel?
That is it. So, so the Man Cave Happy Hour. A lot of times we visit happy hours and talk to a distiller, find out about craft cocktails. But
is there such a thing as a happy hour on a Sunday?
I'm pretty damn happy.
I'm happy.
I'm pretty happy. So we were kind of, just thinking about ramping it up at the Man Cave and doing something special, something a little new. And this is what we're going to call Just a Taste.
Just the taste. Not just the tip. Just the taste.
Did
I say that too soon?
We are never hosting the Oscars. Or running for office. Or anything.
This will be proof right here.
So, but we're at Ambassador Cigar. It is basketball. The place is kind of jumping. Mm-hmm. There's people all around. Michigan State is on the TV playing basketball. We're into the second half, and I don't know.
It's a tight game, I guess.
Yeah. State was up by 2 going into the half. I don't know. We've been plugging in microphones.
Sports ball.
I'm confused, though, because I did my undergrad at U of M.
Yeah.
I got my journalism certifications at State.
Right.
I have lots of sweatshirts. I don't know which one to wear.
That's why you're wearing your goofball.
That's why I'm wearing, my Detroit goofball shirt. So we're here. Here's the concept, the Man Cave Happy Hour, just a taste. And Matt and I have decided we're going to sit down maybe once a week.
Once a week.
Now and again,
we're going to look at one. We're going to pick one type of bourbon, whiskey, spirit, and just kind of go through it, take a taste, something we've never done before.
Just a little taste.
Right, and just do a taste of it.
Just a taste.
And just kind of talk about what we get out of it.
For no other reason than just a good reason to hang out.
Well, there's that, right? Because it is the Man Cave, right?
Yes.
Right.
And then we appreciate you hanging out with us and taking some time and listening to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We do appreciate it. Man Cave Happy Hour on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook. It's
just,
out there.
Man Cave HR on Twitter.
Yep.
I haven't.
Our site, www.mancavehappyhour.com.
That's it.
That
so
is,
the place to find
there.
all the stuff that we do. Because like when we sit down with a distributor or a distiller, or we go to a distillery, those usually are like an hour and a half.
Sure.
But these are going to be shorter.
Yes. I only have so much time. Theoretically, well, we've been here for a little bit longer than what's going to happen right now, but
that's it. Yeah, so we're a beer and a pizza into it.
Yes,
and then we're like, let's plug in some microphones and have some fun. So we've launched the Facebook. I can't see the Facebook, but
it's okay. I think we're in it.
Theoretically, we're on the Facebook as well.
Fair enough.
And so, what do we have on tap? We got the Jefferson, right?
We're doing the Jeffersons, the Aged at Sea.
Aged at Sea.
Something, we want to pick something that we've never done before. We've done a lot of different bourbons over our year and a half of doing this.
Right.
But we we want to increase our palate, get a little bit more involved into what is actually happening here, and give you a brief description of what we're feeling and what we're tasting.
Break them down a little bit.
Yeah, break it down.
So Jefferson's aged at sea, ocean aged at sea, and the label is saying, because I've been learning a little bit as we do this, and that's the reason we do the Man Cave, is because we're trying to learn stuff.
Yes.
And so what I've learned is that a lot of the bourbons, people are using sourced juice for their, and there's a big house, there's a big distribution house, but it's like in the Midwest, it's like in Illinois.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like, it's in Indiana, it's somewhere. It's not, and this,
we haven't learned that yet.
I did, but I forgot it. We'll get back and we'll learn that one. But this one is labeled as Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, very small batch.
Okay.
45% alcohol, 90 proof. And the bottle,
this bottle, but
it is bottle number, and I think you can. Is this the number you use to trace the voyage of the boat?
I think that might be, yes.
Because that's something cool on the Jefferson Ocean website. You can track the voyage of the boat.
You can. Because from what I read, it actually crosses the equator about 4 times.
Okay.
Right, and it actually visits 30 different ports.
Okay.
Over its voyage
like
on the
college.
ship. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, what? I don't even know. But it says on the side label here, it says bottled for McCain and Klein, Louisville, Kentucky. So it says bottled for, but it does say Kentucky Straight Bourbon on the front.
Okay.
So because some of the bourbons, and Kentucky bourbons, are these sourced bourbons,
right?
Because with the big boom, right, people are running out of juice.
They're really running.
And this big house is able to supply people, and so they can do blends. They can bottle it and sell it as their own. One that I was interested in that does it is Bullet.
Who does it?
Bullet.
Oh, Bullet. Yeah.
Bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's not really a Kentucky or Tennessee. That's more from the Midwest, and it's just bottled. So there's a difference. So when you're looking at a bottle, you got to see where it was bottled and where it was distilled, and there's a difference. And there's no distillation signification.
There really is
delineation.
It gets distilled. It gets distilled somewhere, but we don't know how.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say. It's not specific. And again, some of the bottling is going that way. Some of the bigger labels, those are like, oh, that's my unicorn. And it's like, well, it's really not a unicorn anymore because it's being sourced. It's being sourced as these distillers are catching up.
Right.
So. We'll find out. We can find out about Jefferson. And again, this was just sitting down and doing just a cursory...
just the taste, man.
Just a cursory look at it here. But is that Leanne? Was that our bartender?
Yes.
So Leanne, our bartender, she gave us a nice pour.
She did give us a nice pour. We asked for it neat though, because when we try something new, we always go neat first.
Sure.
Because that's where you're going to get the better nose from. Right. And that's where you're going to get the better initial hit. Right. I guess you could say.
So before we dive into the smell and talking about that.
Right. So Jefferson...
Because I got some opinions already. I'm smelling it. It's just breathing right now, too, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So as it breathes, Matt, tell us a little bit about the Jefferson's Ocean and the whole project that they got going there.
Well, Jefferson's Ocean aged at sea. It's actually somewhat new. It only came onto the scene in 2012, right? But before it came onto the scene, it had to soak in the barrels, right? The charred oak barrels that they always use, right? So it hit the scene in 2012, and it actually ages bourbon on an ocean-bound ship.
Wow.
Because, when you're looking at a bottle, when you have a bottle in your hand, let's say it's just going back and forth in your hand, right? It's moving, it's back and forth. So if the juice is in the barrel and it's moving, it'll start to get more of the flavors out of the barrel itself.
And from what I understand, again, from our cursory knowledge, I believe, and I guess people like big fanatics will correct this, Maker's Mark is the only company that rotates their barrels or turns their barrels.
Yeah,
most people they put them in the storehouse
and they just let them sit.
And they sit. Makers gives them a bit of a spin, which again activates things and moves things around.
Right.
These are on an ocean.
It's constantly moving.
It's not, Matt. It's not the size of the ship.
Oh, is it?
It's the motion of the ocean. That's what it's all about. We are never
take that to the bank right there.
We are never hosting the Grammys. Okay. But
So they actually aged the Jefferson's Agency
yes.
and
So
they aged
at
it
sea.
in barrel
So
for-
it's moving.
Yeah, it's moving for
That's
4
a different
years.
dynamic.
It's in a barrel for 4 years at sea. Like I
Right.
said, it crosses the equator a number of times. So it not only that, you get the salt from the ocean, right? It caramelizes a little bit more. You should get some different flavor notes, I think. I haven't even touched it yet. I nosed it a little bit, but
I did. I got a couple opinions
yeah,
already.
yeah. It's going to give you a different flavor because it's moving constantly.
Right.
Right. So I'm thinking, the caramelization's there because it's getting more of the sugars out of the barrel.
Sure.
Because it is constantly moving.
Right.
That's my humble personal novice opinion.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I'm kind of excited to understand how. I would love to talk to this guy, Chris Fletcher.
Sure.
He's the guy that owns the boat.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But then Trey Zoller, he's
Right.
he's the founder, he's the master blender
All
of Jefferson's Aged at Sea.
So that's our mission, is to talk to the Jefferson folks
Yeah.
and get them on. Now, Trey, they were out there
Yes,
for an entirely different purpose.
they were.
They were out there tagging sharks.
They were.
That's
Chris-
the one fact that I knew. I told
Yeah.
Matt, I said, Matt, I have one. I have one fact about this.
Just one?
That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I made Matt do the rest of the looking up. So
Yeah, they
but
actually
they were out on a mission and they were doing research and they were tagging sharks,
marine species. Yeah,
and finding things out. And on that initial, hey, we should bring some barrels of bourbon with us and age it while we're out here.
What else are you gonna do when you're at sea?
Is it more than a 3-hour tour?
At this point, it's a 4-hour
It's
tour.
a
It's a 4-year tour. I'm already 2 in.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
All right.
it should be really interesting as to what we get out of it.
was there anything else off of the history that you wanted to share?
Well, like I said, it's that 4-year experiment. It actually does describe itself as a darker bourbon.
Right.
It's got caramel flavors that seem to be reminiscent of a dark rum.
Okay.
But it's got a briny. It's got a briny flavor because it was sitting out at sea, so you get that sea air with the barrels as well.
right.
So it kind of according to what is this whiskey, the whiskey wash. It kind of resembles. Oh boy. Sorry, dude. I'm trying to look at my notes here. I can't read my own handwriting. So yeah, it kind of resembles an Islay Scotch.
Okay.
That's what they kind of they compare.
I have
it
no
to.
idea what that means, but okay.
Neither do I, and we're gonna have to try that next. But in all honesty, this is something that's new.
Right.
It's only been on the market for 6-7 years now.
Sure.
So it's still getting a brand behind it, and it's a different concept.
Yeah.
If you're going to turn it like Maker's Mark does,
Yeah.
that's a different concept. But this is a constant move. It's
And
a
then,
constant.
like our friends at 3 Chord Bourbon, they blast sound waves at it, a
Right,
particular frequency.
right.
Metallica, they blast Metallica tunes at it, and that activates
Right.
the casks and the kegs in a different way.
Yep.
And so moving on the ocean, that constant movement, it makes a difference.
It should make a difference.
All
So
right.
so Jamie, I'm going to let you
So
take your first
let's
sip.
sniff.
All right. So
I was
Jamie,
sniffing it earlier.
so it noses really nicely. I'm
getting a nice batch of caramel.
It does. It does got that nice batch of caramel to
And
it. You should get some floral notes as well.
It's not really dark, but it's not light.
It's not light. It's not
the
dark. It's kind of
color.
the medium side. It's
Yeah.
on the medium side as far as the for what it looks like. It's a medium, like a honey brown almost.
Right.
But when you nose it, you should get some florals and with some salted caramel in it. So if you ever do this, something that Jamie just did was really important. If you've been drinking on something else, like a Stella or what have you.
Yeah, we've been drinking beers.
Yeah, you need to clean your
smoking
palate,
cigar.
clean your palate,
So
what
I had,
have you.
I had a little potato chip,
Yep.
and then I drank some water, so to kind of clean things out a little bit.
Yep. So go ahead and nose that, Jamie. Tell me what you
Yeah.
get.
I did the caramel big. I'm getting the caramel
You
big.
get the
time.
caramel.
A lot of caramel. in
You're
it.
supposed to get some. You're definitely supposed to get that, and you're supposed to feel some of that florals. I think the florals on the palate is where it comes out a little bit more.
So we're in the middle of a cigar bar too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
and we're 3/4 our way through our cigars too. So I'm sure that's impacting our enjoyment.
but the smoke and salt notes. They should be more pronounced when we actually get the taste.
Yeah, and there's sweet. It's caramely, sweetie, caramely, not.
I got the floral on the taste. The floral is there on the taste, and then it has a little bit of a pepper bite. And it's not a bad bite at all. It's a nice pepper.
Oh,
It's a nice pepper. But then a little bit longer now. Now it's starting to kind of ease in, and now I'm getting that caramel.
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice.
Well,
that's
there's
nice
a flavor
blend.
in there I
There's
haven't had in another bourbon.
Yeah, it's a very different bourbon.
That briny sea salt.
Yeah.
Because it's not salty, but yeah, because when you're talking briny sea salt, I'm like, whatever. Okay. But no, there's a unique flavor in there.
Yeah, it's a very unique. It's a soft salt. It's a small, salty, smoky combine.
I just burped.
Yeah.
That adds another dynamic.
Does it really?
Yeah, do it. Try it.
Yeah. Was that the meat that you had on the pizza earlier?
Why do our wives let us out of the house?
Because they love us. This is it's actually a really, we just did it neat.
And now that I sipped.
Yeah.
And then nosing it again, I'm getting more florals.
Yeah.
Now that
it tapers off really nicely, and that's where that caramel is driving a lot of that flavor at that point. So
yeah.
That's a really nice. I'm a big caramel guy. Mm-hmm. I do like a good caramel, whatever. But this has a nice caramel finish to it. It really does.
Right.
And we always try it neat. Anytime you try any bourbon for the first time, everyone's different. They like their water. They can ice it down or what have you. But first time you try it, always go neat.
That brine, that salty brine is there again when I tasted it again. Yeah. There's, you see, and then all those tasting notes that people have. Shoe leather and pencil shavings. I don't get all that. I mean, I'm not that deep. My palate isn't that refined.
Neither is mine.
But there's a decided taste, and we read a couple of the tasting notes, and they said it's going to be this salty, briny thing.
Yes.
And there's a decidedly different taste in there.
There is.
And it's if that's what that is.
It's not what I'm used to.
Do you want to open it up with a couple drops of water?
You can open it up. Go ahead, man. I actually really enjoy it.
I'm going to put a couple drops of water in there.
Go for it, man.
All right. Just
so while you're doing that,
I put like a straw full of water in it to see what that does.
It's the ocean. On a boat. It's a really unique place. On a boat. I'm on a boat, but it's a very uncommon place. To age bourbon. Yes. It really is an uncommon place, and that's
you got to figure. I mean, it's a limited capacity, right?
Well, yeah. So.
Hey, Thaler.
Hey, buddy.
It shouldn't be people in Navarre are looking at us like we're fucking
whatever. We're having a good time, and I hope you're having a good time too here in the Man Cave Happy Hour.
Yes.
Yeah, this is something that Mr. Flanagan, Jamie, decided to. At one afternoon, he's walking down the street, kind of in a pissy mood, and. And he's like, you know what? I want to talk more about this type of stuff because he had a bourbon in one hand and a cigar in the other. And
I know. Colleen was like, "Get yourself a bourbon, get yourself a cigar. Let's go for a walk." I'm like, "This is my kind of exercise, honey." Okay.
Yeah. So this is a very unique type of bourbon, just because of the constant movement that it had. It created this honey brown flavor, and this really caramelized the sugars that much more because it's touching more of the barrel over time.
That flavor is in there.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. It's but it doesn't linger. It adds some dynamics while you're drinking it.
Yes.
But it's not like a bad taste hanging on afterwards.
It doesn't. Some bourbons do that to you as
it's
well.
It's finishing softer.
Yeah.
I'm not getting with the caramel. A lot of times, it's something that smells this caramely. It'll be buttery tasting.
Sure.
And I'm not getting that. When you taste it, you got that briny, salty thing going on.
Right.
And then the finish is just a nice caramel. Not super strong, but the caramel is just still there. And like you said, that briny leads into I guess maybe peppery, you said. Right. I'll agree with that.
You opened yours up just a little bit with the straw of water,
Tasting
right?
the same to
Is
me.
It the same?
Yeah,
right.
and I'm not getting anything vehemently different off
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, it's very unique. It's got a unique flavor. It's not a bad flavor in any way, shape, or form. It does finish.
I think the brine taste gets stronger with the water in it.
Is that just because of the water? We're not.
I mean, it was just a straw.
Oh, okay.
A swizzle straw full of water.
It was tap water. I wonder if it would be tap water make a change, or if you used any type of a fresh water, ocean water, or bottled water, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this is a really good decision for our first, just the taste.
I've been meaning to try to hook into the Jefferson's Ocean. I've wanted to try it.
Yeah.
Just because is it just a gimmick? Right. Is it really a thing? But there's a decided taste to it.
It started out very small. Now it's globally, and they ship stuff around the entire globe. and it goes to 30 different ports. For goodness
hey,
sakes.
Paul joined us.
Hey, Paul. What's up, buddy?
We're smoking cigars without you, Paul.
Sorry, Paul.
Paul's our adopted godfather, cigar godfather, from the Michigan Cigar
Michigan's
Network.
Cigar Smokers of Michigan.
Cigar Smokers of Michigan.
Yes. So thanks for joining us, Paul.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. Watching basketball, smoking cigars, and we figured we would do just a taste. What else do we want to talk about this, Matt, before we wrap it up?
Well, one last thing I will share with you that, yes, it is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's a very small batch, as this is called.
Right.
But it ages for at least 4 years in the barrels on the ships. It's always moving, so you're going to get more of a barrel taste than anything else. But it does open it up to a lot more flavors, I think.
I was stalling because I was looking. You keep going.
Yeah. I'm going to keep going. All right. So if you go to their website, it's what is that? www.jeffersonsoceanagedAtSea.com, I would imagine. Or if you just look up jeffersonsbourbon.com, you're going to get a lot more because they have more than just this. They have a lot more products.
There's several different variations, right?
Yeah,
there's
they have
cask strength.
Right. They have got a lot more
single
versions.
Barrel. There's a lot of different.
This was an experiment that they tried with their original, 3 blends of bourbon that they had originally. So they just figured they would give it a shot and see what happens. And it was an experiment, and so far for me, it's been a wonderful experiment that's worked out very well. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to let people know what's going on next, and you're going to look up the price points on these. But coming up, we had a guest on the Man Cave. We talked to Kerry from the Financial Survival Network. He's also the author of Viral Podcasting. So we got connected with Kerry, and he's a wine buff.
Oh, nice.
He loves red wine. So Kerry and I have a conversation about red wine. But before we get to that, we talked about podcasting, about his Financial Survival Network, and his life as a recovering attorney.
As a financial guy personally, that's what I do. I'm a banker by trade. So I'm really excited to hear what he had to say about that.
So we had a nice conversation with Kerry the other day, and we're going to add that on here as part of this Man Cave Happy Hour. Matt, but before we go over to that and flip over to our conversation with Kerry, what is a price point on the Jefferson Ocean? I saw a couple.
Yeah, it actually is. It's kind of all over the place. It could
there's
be
several. There's cask strength.
There's cask strength.
There's like the 12-year, and so
looking at just Google. I'm googling this as we speak. All right, so it could be anywhere from $101 down to $75.
And I think the one that we're having right now.
Yes.
I think that's a little, because this is just the introductory one.
Yes.
I think the price point's on that closer to $50.
Yes. I think so, because
I think your basic bottle is closer to $50.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, that's just what I'm looking up on Google right now.
Yeah, you're getting your specials in your 12 years in the single cask or the single barrel.
Right.
Those are going to be closer to 100.
Sure.
On those.
Yeah. So it depends on what your pocketbook is going to be able to handle at that point. So.
Would you come here again?
Would I do this one again? If I had no other choice, I would not mind this in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And because I would actually go out and buy a bottle of this,
sure, okay,
just to have it on the counter.
That's the question.
And just to give a guest an option.
Marry, kill, or no? All right, what?
Give some. Just like it's just nice to have options. You can have a Jameson as an option, then you can have a Stag as an option.
Sure.
Those are two very, very different,
distinct options.
Very distinct. So you want to have a little bit more options for your guests or what have you. Or if you're just hanging out and you're not really in the mood for something too strong but not too light. Mm-hmm. This is a good in between.
Yeah. All right, Matthew. There you go. We're going to do this again. We're at Ambassador Cigar this time, but
yes, sir.
Who knows where we'll end up? This is kind of really close to both of us, so it's not a bad place to end up for just a taste with the Man Cave Happy Hour, and we'll follow this up with our Financial Survival Network interview with Kerry.
Fantastic.
So there you go.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Welcome to Man Cave. Cheers.
Fantastic. Cheers, everybody.
All right, fair play. And it is time to dive into the happy hour. We're going to talk a little bit about a red wine today. We're going to call up our guest, Kerry Lutz. He is a financial guru. Going to find out about his podcast, the things he does, and then we're going to dive into some red wine. Let's give him a call. Dance party. My favorite part.
Kerry Lutz speaking.
Kerry, hi, it's Jamie from the Man Cave Happy Hour.
Hey, how are you, Jamie?
Excellent. Kerry, thanks so much for taking some time to join us down
sure.
in the Man Cave today.
Hey, I love it. I love the concept, and hey, we'll have some fun.
Absolutely. So I wanted to talk to you about the things that you do. You have the Financial Survival Network, and it is a group of investment professionals coming together. What exactly is the Financial Survival Network?
Well, it's a podcast, a website, and a network of people who I interview regularly to try to get out the word on the street, what's really happening in the economy, not what the mainstream media is telling you.
All right.
And, I won't always say that I know exactly what's going on, but I certainly, what we really specialize in is deconstructing stories that are in the media.
Okay.
To get to the bottom of things.
So are these for investment pros, or is this for people managing their own portfolio, or is this a show for everybody?
A show for everybody. Mainly, we kind of gear towards professionals, small business people, and retirees who are, they're like six-figure earners or better.
All right, so Kerry,
Half of them.
why a podcast, Kerry? What's the big deal with your podcast? Why do you do a podcast?
Well, I've done radio before, and I just feel like it's a great way to reach people. Inexpensive, easy to syndicate, easy to get your message out there, easy to pick up listeners, and it just works.
So, I'm a podcast junkie myself. I always like to know why other people like diving into the medium as well. So yeah, it's an amazing way to share a story or a message or collaborate on ideas. So I just love doing it, and I appreciate you collaborating with us today for a little bit. So,
are you going to Podfest or Podcast Movement? One of them?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to make it to those this year. I do. It's on my list of things I do want to do. Do you frequent those as well?
Yeah. Well, I've been to Podcast Movement a few times. I like Podfest better.
Okay.
It just the people are more real, and I just like it better. So a little smaller, a little less hectic.
Sure. Yeah, there's so many conventions and things to do. It's just, it's simply astounding.
Yeah.
There's only 24 hours in a day. So in the investment world,
Limited time.
Why the hell did my portfolio take a hit last month? What's going on?
Who knows? It's like the market's been going straight up, been doing nothing but going up for 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
So maybe it's due for a little decline.
Sure. Yeah, it took a little bit of a hit. I was like, whoa, hey, all right, is it time to pull it out and stuff it all on the mattress?
Well, I talked to a lot of so-called experts about that very topic. And, a lot of them say that, no, we're in a bear market. A couple of guys who I really trust say, no, the fun is just getting started. You can't even imagine what's going to happen. So you kind of have to pick and choose which one you're going to listen to.
Right.
But it wouldn't surprise me if the bear market goes on for the bull market, rather. The rally goes on for several more years.
Okay, good to hear. Because I teach high school during the week, and I'm about 5 years out from when I'd like to check out. 3 years from I really want to check out. 5 years from probably when I'll be able to check out and head into.
What state are you in?
Michigan.
Oh God! You really think you're going to have a pension for the rest of your life?
I don't know. I have a lot of my own savings too. Well, not a lot, but I have some of my own savings as well. So yeah,
I'll be very careful with it.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to have to buy you out somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is going to take place, but the very notion of these pensions, they're unsustainable.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to have a plan B.
Oh yeah, it's the younger teachers coming in. They have this tiered system now, and it actually kind of pits teachers against one another. It's great union it's great union busting stuff for sure. Just because you have people at different tiers, doing the same job, but at different tiers of compensation. It's not completely kosher. But yeah, so
well, you're a right to work state now too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's they're crazy business in Michigan, and in the awful thing is, I got into this this art of teaching, right? It is
a craft.
It's an industry now, though. No, we have conversations at school about the product. And it's like, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Okay.
Well, the product, the kids. I'm like, holy shiitake mushrooms. Did you just call them a product?
It's an educational industrial complex.
It really is. It's but hey, the teachers are out there, us as individuals are doing what we can with these crazy little...
You must love it. You must love what you're doing. Or used to at some point, right?
At some point, Kerry, I did for sure. There's still shining moments. I still have some wonderful, fantastic kids. So, but you do a bit of teaching yourself through your podcast and then through a book that you wrote called Viral Podcasting. Tell me about viral podcasting.
Well, I went through this journey, learning how to be a podcaster. There weren't any books about it. There was certainly no book about how to make podcasting a career or a business. So I figured, well, since there's none out there, I got to do it. So, I was successful, then successful. This year is going to be probably my best year ever doing podcasting. So I figured, let's see if people can learn from my somewhat bittersweet experience. So thus the book was born.
What was the most difficult lesson you learned?
Basically that if you build it, they won't come.
So
you have to make them want to come. Because otherwise they're not coming.
All right. And is that what people will find out, how to make them want to come in viral podcasting?
Among other things, yeah.
Okay.
We have to treat it as a business from the get-go. So...
So there's
what it's about.
There's a lot of people. We're broadcasting here in downtown Detroit, Podcast Detroit Studios, and there are six different studios. One here in downtown Detroit, right by the Little Caesars Arena and the Comerica Park, where the Tigers play and the Pistons and the Red Wings. So we're right in the heart of the city. And then there's another 4 studios of the Podcast Detroit network up in a suburb about 8 miles north of here called Royal Oak. And on the network, there's probably close to 110 shows running throughout the week. Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah, no, you haven't heard them. There's some rough spots, but it's people expressing their voices, and that's what I compliment, because I just rent space here. It's I'm just one of the shows on the network, but the guys Bob and Dave from IT and the D, they do this, and it's like what I do with my kids. I teach journalism in high school, the yearbook newspaper broadcast, and it's it's giving those young people a voice, right, and giving them an outlet. Right. And what these guys do at Podcast Detroit is that they give these people an opportunity to have a voice and be heard. Yeah. So it's a pretty amazing thing. But there's a lot of people who aren't approaching it, like you said in your book, like a business. They're not really approaching it as a business.
Exactly.
They're just doing it for fun, right? If it's them
hobby.
And it's a hobby. Do you think that's hurting the podcast industry, the podcast nation?
Because you got to realize anyone who's serious about it is going to stick to it, and their hobby will turn into a passion, and it'll turn into, perhaps if they do things properly, if they execute right, it'll turn into a career. And, like the ones who aren't serious, they are really self-executing. They will, after a few episodes, they'll just say, wow, this is work. I don't want more work, and they'll stop doing it, which is, if you look on iTunes, most of them have been discontinued. So really, the more the merrier, because there's an infinite number of topics that people are willing to, or at least curious about, and are willing to learn more about, given the opportunity.
Oh, that's it. Exactly.
So it's really.
We do a bit called the show next week is going to be, and we pretend we're going to change the topic of the show for the next week, and we come up with some ridiculous topic like like Comic Sans. We take things and we read it in Comic Sans because it's funnier that way.
Yeah,
and it's like that'll be the podcast, and it's like, but some of the things we've come up with, we've Googled, and we're like, oh wait, holy crap, there actually is a podcast like that. It's like,
never be surprised what somebody will podcast about, because if you thought of it, somebody else has. I
got to tell you, it's it's
crazy ones too. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there, and you can. That's one of the things is you can have fun with it. You're allowed to have fun.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not having fun, that's why you're not going to last. You'll self-deport yourself from the podcasting universe quickly.
So, are you a certified financial advisor, or what's your day gig?
No, I'm a recovering attorney.
Oh, wow, right on.
I practiced law in New York for 30 years and had enough of that, and was looking for something else that would give me fulfillment, allow me to kind of reach out and touch people. And I don't want to say make a difference because that's such a cliche,
sure,
but make a difference. So, and then I just kind of, I always thought, I wanted to be on the radio, and I would have to buy a radio station.
Right.
And then podcasting came. And I said, wow, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. All right. So the Man Cave Happy Hour, it's whiskey, spirits, cigars, and the stories that go along with it.
Oh,
we like to do that. We visit happy hours. We go to distilleries. We talk to people, and you just seem like an interesting guy. I figured we'd say hi. And in your bio it says you love red wine, and you were quite the aficionado. Maybe I overread that, but you're a big fan of red wine. And so
I've been drinking red wine for 48 years, so there is some truth to it.
Yeah, there you are. So what do you know about red wine? Because there's a controversy, well, not really a controversy, but there's opinions about red wines from the United States and red wines from around the world. And then people say that there's just not a good red wine created in the U.S.
I totally don't buy that.
Okay.
I mean, look, there's different levels, like in everything. If you're looking for the finest wine in the world, well, there are some great ones from California.
Sure.
Some great Cabernets. There's so many wines from all over the world. You're not always looking to drink the best glass of wine in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just want to kick back. It all depends what you're looking for, right?
That $5 chuck.
Sometimes, what's that?
That $5 chuck you get down at Trader Joe's.
Yeah, that could be good. Some of those box wines can be really good,
and those things never end.
What's that?
Those box wines, they just keep pouring and pouring and pouring. It's like they never end.
Yeah,
I love them.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's like I said, it's all a matter of what you are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But there's plenty of great wines that are that come from American vineyards.
Sure.
I mean, the best Pinot Noirs in the world are coming out of Oregon, out of California, out of Washington State. Some of the best Cabernets are coming out of Washington State. I mean, they're amazing wines. And they aren't real expensive. I mean, that's the common misunderstanding is that you somehow have to spend $100 a bottle to get a great bottle of wine. And you could spend $25. You could spend $15 some places. It just depends.
Yeah.
So, but, like I've had wine from all over the world and from some well-known countries and from some not so well-known countries. I mean, I am partial to French red burgundies, I'll admit that.
Sure.
They've gotten very expensive. I don't have them that often as I used to when they were $10 a bottle.
Yeah.
When the top one would be $50 a bottle.
Right.
But you can still find them a nice French red burgundy for $25. Not hard to do.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, yeah, there are people who are very snobby and elitist. The wine area kind of attracts these people.
Right.
But, you know, the fact is that wine is the kind of thing, it also depends who you're with,
Sure.
what you're eating, you know, wine pairings with food. You don't have to be a total wine snob to really enjoy the world of wine. That's one of the great things about it. And experts do people a disservice because they seem to imply that you have to have this, you know, incredible knowledge and, you know, a nose. You got to know the wine's nose and its legs and all this. You don't need to know any of that to enjoy a good bottle of wine.
So now on the Man Cave, we've talked to a lot of people about bourbons and about whiskeys, and we like talking to the distillers, to the guys who are making the stuff, and we usually ask, what's the right way to drink it? What should we be doing? And they're like, you know, should it be neat? Should it be on the rocks? Should it be in a cocktail? And they're like, do it however you like. And this is coming from the guys who are making it, right? Not the aficionados. Yeah. And so I really like talking to those guys. And you're in the same place with the wine. It's like, do what you enjoy, you know? And if you like our stuff, buy another bottle of it and enjoy it some more, but do it however you want. Put it on the rocks, drink it straight, however you want.
Yeah, of course. Because look, you know, it's like, there are certain spirits that need to be sipped, and there are certain ones that need to be gulped. and then certain times you want a cocktail, and then other times you want it straight up or neat or whatever. So it's really a question of what preference is, what makes you happy. And, you know, I mean, I'm not a big hard liquor person. I love cognac, Armagnac. I like a really good single malt scotch. And I like generally whiskeys that you sip, not that you slam down.
All right.
That's just my preference.
Yeah.
But hey, one of the greatest things in life is a glass of cognac, a nice Cuban cigar hanging out in front of the fireplace. There's just nothing better than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great.
So, Kerry, what is your go-to wine when you're having one? You're like, I got to pick this up and enjoy it.
Well, there's a vineyard that I stumbled upon by accident, and here's a little secret: if you don't know anything about wine, what tastes good, whatever, go to a place that shows the Wine Spectator ratings. Now, I won't tell you that every Wine Spectator rating is accurate, but I will tell you that if a wine is rated 90 by the Wine Spectator, it's probably not going to be a bad bottle. And I found this bottle. It's called Gordon Brothers Estates, I think, in Washington State, Cabernet. It's about $27, $29 a bottle. We have a Total Wines near us, and they put these numbers out in front of a lot of different bottles. And I took it to a wine tasting, a blind wine tasting, and everybody tasted. There were 5 different types. And this was far and away the best received wine. I had no idea that it was going to be that great a bottle, and I've bought it for years since then. So Gordon Brothers Estates in Washington State.
All right. I'm going to have to scribble that one down and try to find it here in Michigan.
Yeah, Total Wines has got it for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can order it.
Sure. Well, awesome. Kerry, I really appreciate you taking a little time and hanging out in the Man Cave and talking about your stuff and talking about wine. What's your website?
Website is financialsurvivalnetwork.com and viralpodcasting.com.
All right, excellent.
Depending what your proclivity.
And when people are searching their podcast download sites, they'll be looking for the Financial Survival Network?
Correct.
Excellent. All right, Kerry Lutz, thanks so much for coming and being with us in the Man Cave.
Hey, my pleasure.
right.
Pleasure to be on.
All right. Cheers, man.